And yeah, welcome to the final hour of Malala Show. And it's the part of the segment I like because we talk about the arts and culture, or we have a music feature in this hour. But of course, this time we've got the arts and culture, and we will be going back down memory lane. We talk about our history as we are actually approaching the Remembrance Day that is coming up. Usually we celebrate our Remembrance Day in July 2023. July 23rd each year, and of course governor, or I should say provincial member for Central Province, also has launched the walk, one of their walk that she's planning on Tuesday. And in a significant announcement made on Tuesday, the provincial member for Central Province, Honorable Rufina Peter, launched the annual corporate charity dinner and fundraising events. And this year, the inaugural theme is Legacy Tracks, focusing on Kokoda and the Ghost Mountain Track in the Central Province. Miss Peter announced that she will begin a 96-kilometer Kokoda Track from Mayola to Owens Corner, and another 225-kilometer Ghost Track, also known as Kapa Kapa. That's in the white people, or the Americans call it Kapa Kapa, but originally it's known as Gaba Gaba, which was used by the American troops in the World War II. The purpose of the walk is to pay tribute to the wartime heroes from the Central Province, Australia, New Zealand, and Japanese, and to gain a deeper understanding of the experience of soldiers and careers during the war. Mr. Buddy Walbino, a prominent local ward member for Ward 1 for Rigo North Local LLG in Rigo District, revealed ongoing discussions regarding the Kapa Kapa Track, or the Ghost Track Mount, or the Ghost Mountain. His team has been actively engaging with the interested parties, including filmmakers from America, to create a movie documenting the forgotten Kapa Kapa Track, also known as Ghost Track, used by the American forces in 1945. Speaking of which, well, I'm privileged, or we are privileged here at NBC, of course, on our national radio this afternoon, to have with us in the studio Mr. Buddy Walbino, the local ward member for the North Mount of the Rigo district, and he is with us this afternoon with his team. We will talk more on the historical significance, the current initiatives, the community engagements this afternoon, challenges, solutions, way forward, and impact of the movie project that is coming up. Like I said, they are with us in the studio. First of all, I'll let Mr. Buddy introduce himself and, of course, his team this afternoon. Thank you so much for coming to NBC National Radio this afternoon, especially on our arts and culture this afternoon.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure and opportunity, and we are happy to be in the studio after so many years of isolation. I'm living radio, and I'm happy to be back again here to meet with colleagues here, former colleagues, I would say. And thank you for the invitation, especially for this afternoon segment on arts and culture, to talk about our culture. And thank you. Yes, I'm with the team here, Nanai area. This is Nanai, and I'm happy he's from Gaba Gaba village. He's a former ward councillor for Gaba Gaba. Myself as a team leader, and of course local pioneer to the Kapa Kapa and Ghost Mountain Track since 2006. And I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of our last man standing, Didi Buyova, who is the also local pioneer to Kapa Kapa Trail when we started in 2005 after doing some researches. And Bevan Billy, who has been one of the young men who walks the Ghost Tracks since that time to date. And we're happy to be invited to their studio to talk about arts and culture, and of course the governor's initiative, and of course the legacy track for 2024 this year is proposed by the provincial government of Central.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you as well in the studio to talk about it. So as we continue, can you elaborate more on the historical significance of the Kokoda or the Kapa Kapa Track during World War II?
I think yes. First of all, yeah. I will more talk about Kapa Kapa, which is part of my area, and because I'm from that side. The Kapa Kapa Track is a historical track also, which also involved in the fight of the 1942 World War II, and of course which ended in 1945. And I was fortunate to be part of this program when the Americans landed in 2005 and 6. So I took that leader to take the Americans over to doing. So Ghost Track or Kapa Kapa Track is one of the historical tracks that has been forgotten for so many years, and almost 70 years. And we had the privilege of James Campbell from America, who came down, wanted to revive and to retell the story of how these Americans have came to our shores at Kapa Kapa and started to identify and found out that there was war. So that's how Kapa Kapa Track had become now as it is today. It's almost 20 years, and we tried to develop this track since 2006 to date, and it's a great to have these partners who came to partner with us to develop the Kapa Kapa Track to date. And it's been a long forgotten, but we're happy that now it's becoming another history that we are now trying to revive and to retell to our generations that are that must know what's happening in the areas of this track. Yeah.
So I'm hearing this. It is also my first time to hear about the Kapa Kapa, the Ghost Track, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about the track itself and how was back in the day. How did the Americans use the track?
The track itself is before we had American patrol officers who reside. They came down to because they were here as patrol officers and doing their patrol work jobs, and they came to identify. And they were here doing their work until when they realized that there was war, because they were doing the patrol work, walking up the ranges, Owenstone ranges, walking up from Central Province and trying to cross the borders of Owenstone ranges up to northern side. And upon the visits to the area, they realized that there was war down in Buna. So there were gunshots, gunfires, and all this, and they said, "Oh, there is a war somewhere." So they had to return back from their duties. And then they came back to their location, actual location at Kapa Kapa, which they pronounced as Kapa Kapa, and then they started sending messages over. And they said, we're very afraid to advise that there is war already, Japanese already now down at Buna in Oro province. So they had to have this radio network sent out to their colleagues and the battalions up in America, in Australia. So the team has to come down. So how they came down was through Marines, through aircraft and to helicopters. They had to land at the shores of Kapa Kapa. So that's how they mobilized. They mobilized there, and then that's how they walked. They engaged the local, our local Papuans, Papuan heroes, and the Papuans has to be engaged so that they became carriers and porters and carriers, and they became laborers to assist in this war. So they were trained by the Americans, and then once identified, when they realized there was war, they had to make sure that the boys must be trained so that they can help assist to go and fight the Japanese at Buna. So that's actually what they did, and that's a brief about the Kapa Kapa history became as it is today. But unfortunately, it was never told. The history was never been told until we also don't know the histories until James Campbell came in 2006, and that's how the histories began to reveal. Yeah, for the Ghost Mountain. Yeah, for the Kapa Kapa.
So the Ghost Mountain. So how is the trek from Kapa Kapa village to where?
Yeah, the trek itself, especially for our listeners, is in Central Province. The trek itself starts from the coastline, beaches of Kapa Kapa, and it starts at Kapa Kapa village. Because we had remains and raw relics, and we had submarines, and we had wharves and everything there, we intentionally wanted that Kapa Kapa people must be recognized and must be appreciated. And war itself, the base main camp was at Kapa Kapa. So the war itself, the trek itself starts at Kapa Kapa, and then continues from there all the way up the Cambridge River, up the Owens Corners to Mount Aubrey in Dorabisoro, where my station is. Where we belong.
That's and from very inland Rigo.
Inland Rigo. So we are inland Rigo, but now because they split the LRGs into two, we are now Rigo North and Rigo East. So the track bypasses the Rigo Central, going up to Rigo North LRG. And then we are the last villages. My village and my ward is the last village crossing the borders of Central and crosses over to Northern province. So the trek starts from Kapa Kapa and walks from here to Mount Aubrey, and then crossing the Owens border, Mount Aubrey, crossing the borders over to Northern province, the first villages of Suwari and Jauri, and then we come to Itokama. After Itokama now, we continue the walk to Natanga, to Bofu, and then to Seva, and then now we arrived at Buna, where the Japanese camp is. So the trek itself is 225 kilometers, and it's a very hard trek anyway, not unlike Kokoda, which is almost 9 days of trekking, and 96 kilometers, but for Kapa Kapa it's 225 kilometers, and only the strongest team can make it in. Actually, it's supposed to be made in 21 days of trekking. We do it in 21 days, but only the strongest team can do it in 14 days, 18 days, or even 15 days. Or 12 days,
It's all about mental.
So it all starts in coastline of Central Province and then ends in the northern beaches of Buna. That's in Oro Province. So
there's a trek there. I'm trying to picture these in my mind.
We have this history forgotten, and almost 80 years now, and now we are happy that this trek has been. The history is now becoming reality, and we want to retell our generation that yes, this is where our forefathers, our grandparents have fought along this track. And we want to tell a story because we want to remember our local heroes, especially Papuans. And we're happy that now provincial governor, Honorable Rufina Peter, had an opportunity to come and intervene into this. And well, I was fortunate to have her invited to my ward in 2023 last year, and I told her off, and I said, we have a history that must be retold, and as far as the tourism industry is concerned, this is we have a track that is here, Coast Track, the Kapa Kapa Trail, far forgotten for a very long time, and we needed your leadership in this. So sitting in Western Times, he came back last year, and we worked around the clock, and she invited me a few hours of discussing on the track and the way forward, and here we are today. So we're happy that she decided to do the media conference on Tuesday, and we are here for public awareness and just to remind and to inform our people that yes, they will be trekking in September, and here we are today. So that's a brief history on the Kapa Kapa Track here.
Very emotional to know about the tracks and to know about the fallen heroes of the Central Province, especially on the Magi Highway side. The people have, central heroes have gone down the tracks. They were carriers and being part of the trek with the Americans. What you mentioned about the governor, or I should say the provincial member, what other current initiatives are being taken or to preserve and commemorate the Kapa Kapa tracks?
I think I really appreciate the initiatives, and I think it's the way. As I said, I was only a youth at the time, and I tried to promote this track. When the Americans and Australians came to develop it, they would spend their time and resources trying to develop it. And as a local young man, I tried to bring this attention to our successive governments, but it never happened. But in this short time and I felt that my term will expire soon. And when I tried to push this one this year, governor was very happy that we have a track that is there. So she now had that initiative of doing the legacy track, meaning she want to remember the Papuans. She want to remember the Papuan heroes who fought along the track, who had been carriers, who had been soldiers and assisting the Americans and Australians who fought along the tracks. And then I was locals, and especially my team, that we stood together since day one. They were very happy that governor wants to do a legacy track and remember all Papuans who, the heroes who passed away during the war. So we are very happy that governor has decided to call it a legacy track to remembrance of our old heroes here.
All right, awesome. So can you share more details about the discussion with the filmmakers from America regarding the Kapa Kapa Track? You mentioned earlier that someone from America visited Kapa Kapa Track in 2006. Tell us about it.
I think that is correct. We had the fortunate of James Campbell. James Campbell is an American. He's a journalist. He is one of the senior journalists in Tribunal Studios in America. And he's one of the great authors of America as well, in the United States. and he landed in PNG in 2006, and I was on a leave back in the village, and when he came down to my village in Larono, and I was back in the village, so he came and he asked if I could assist him do the documentary and footage. So I had to quit my job. I didn't come back to work again.
Wow.
I had to assist in the documentary from Central Province. I worked with a team all the way to Poponeta in Ora Province. And after returning, I was hired by Tom Productions and Eric Anderson, who is the lawyer. We had to do this documentary together. I did the translations and of the footage and the documentary. So I had to send the document to America for the book. So the book was titled The Ghost Mountain Boys. That was written by James Campbell. So we started working together since 2006 to date, and we're still working.
So 2006, that was the time that you met
James
Campbell, and,
yes.
and you also walked the track.
That
was your first time. You already walked the track.
I walked the track, and
wow.
we walked the track. It's we did 8 tracks already, and this one is going to be the 9th one, and it's going to be the biggest one. And we did the biggest one in 2009. That's when I met Amnanai Area, who was our leader down at Kapa Kapa, and we were happy that he was since that time he's been organizing all the active programs down there. We meet and we work together to date, and we're happy he's here with us in the studio, and maybe he will have his time to share some experiences, and maybe of course he will have more about Kapa Kapa, the history.
Yeah,
he will tell more about Kapa Kapa, how this day landed, because he will have more stories than me. So that's just about.
He was a ward member at that time.
Yeah. That was about James Campbell, because he came with a team, and we had to do that. So now we have a possibility, and we have already got team ready to come down this September. The TV crews were ready to come down.
So they're actually working with
so yes,
Miss Peter?
yes, we've already organized that we have 20 partners, 20 truckers who are working with us this September, and we've already organized our partners truckers from America and Australia. They're already ready to work with us, and we've already booked in them for the September with Governor. So Governor will be part of the team to track with the trackers from America and Australia.
I believe you'll be tracking as well.
Yes, definitely, because I'm a team leader and I'm a guide myself with the Didi Boo and others.
Didi Boo as well will be
yeah, of course. We want also.
As well?
Yes,
Oh,
we want to. I want to also farewell them, because they will not continue to work again.
Yes.
Didi Boo and Wairi Mamana was not present with us. He was a former councillor.
So this will be their final work.
Their final work with us, and at least we let them to have rest and see us, the children, continue this track. Yeah.
Interesting. Brings me to the question to Mr. Nanai. You were the ward councillor at that time. Maybe you could share with us some of the history about that.
Thank you very much. Yes, of course. Buddy took me off guard at that time. When he landed, this track was going to be on. He found himself out at Kapa Kapa on a Saturday, and then he asked for the councillor, and I came forward.
You didn't know him. You didn't know.
But prior to that, I had received a letter. He had sent a letter from 4 Mile. Said, please, on a PME bus, please pass this on to your ward member. And I read about it, but I wasn't expecting him that soon when he showed up. we had a chat, and then he gave me the itinerary and all the information that I needed to know. And then he came back again to Port Moresby, and thereafter I started learning about the programs of James Campbell and the team. So I got my community together, informed them of this, and brought some really aged people around who knew about these happenings at that time. The landing of the Americans, Kapa Kapa became the landing pad for the American troops, and there are sites still out there where the Americans camped. They camped there for a couple of days before taking their walk, trailing the Kapa Kapa trail, Ghost Track. Yeah. But prior to that, from history, the Americans had tried desperately trying to get to the northern part of the country from the Papuan area. There were 2 attempts that came to unfold at that time of the conversation. One was from the Kairuku side, which failed, and another one was from the above end. And then getting the information together, as Buddy had said, they came back and found that they were to try the Kapa Kapa end, and that's how Kapa Kapa trail started, and it became a success because from that trail they had to cut off the Japanese supply line. And by that time the Japanese were hot pursuing the Australians who were crossing through Kokoda, and once the Americans cut the supply line off, that's when and where the war was won by the Australians.
Wow, there's a history untold right there. Very interesting. So you got the village, the community together when you learn about James Campbell visiting, and Buddy just left 4 Mile, pay the PMV. Back then it was like 4 PMV bus to just get up to Kapa Kapa to meet with you.
That's right.
Yeah. So how was the community support in terms of hearing that and hearing, we have negativity around, but with that coming, how was the support from the community?
Oh, it was news. It was news. So all the community came together, and we brought the old people around, and then I allowed them to give their share of the stories, and it was seriously sad. A lot of tears were dropped. But unfortunately, most of those old guys are no longer around in the village. But we do have tales of how things had been at that time and how things had unfolded.
So what, like you said, we have old people from, I think back then when they walked the trail, most people, because they were at Kapa Kapa, most people were from Kapa Kapa village. I think we should have their great-grand relatives still living around, and if they know the tales to share.
Of course, yeah, because the first carriers were recruited from Kapa Kapa.
Yeah, definitely.
So they went. They had their schedules and also the routes and the demarcation of where they're gonna hand over the cargo to the next group. So the Kapa Kapa team took it up to a certain distance, and then another team took over from there on.
So that means we have the Rigo boys, everyone along that played a role. So that's from Kapa Kapa to Rigo and to inland Rigo, and everybody along that villages took part.
Yes. So Buddy's area would have been the last carriers to go over to the northern part, and they were there. Those old people would have witnessed how the Americans cut the supply lines for the Japanese.
Wow, very interesting to hear such history untold about our central people, and it's great to hear this afternoon. And as we continue, we talk about the challenges and the solution. What challenges have you encountered in terms of you want to preserve it and promote the significance of the track, Buddy?
I think yes, we have a lot of challenges, and it's really a huge challenge, and especially like one person, especially like people in the local community begin to see us as we cannot do it. We cannot do it, and then a lot of professional allies and can what are these guys? Are they dreaming? But I never gave up. I never gave up as a young man, that time, and I was telling these people, my leaders, especially I would say uncles, these things will never happen if you don't work. So with the challenge I have from partners, and I've seen them coming down and spending their time, their resources, their money, paying the boys. We have never spent anything, and the challenges are real. So we have ups and downs, we have criticisms, we have gossips, we have certain people who come and men and us and said, you cannot do it, this is our land, this is our, you cannot go, you're going to walk this track, you cannot, no. Now this is real, and it's happening. So challenges are real, and then we wanted to get the attention of the government from both sides, because the track starts from central part and ends in the northern part, which is in the areas of both provinces. So we tried to do that, and it didn't happen. Fortunately, we were fortunate to have our central governor who intervened and who seriously took this on board, and here she is, and now she's now involved in provincial governor for Oro, and they are open members, and I'm happy that they are all coming to be part of this trek in September, and we'll be doing official big program up at Kapa Kapa and the Dorobisoro, and another flyover to Itokama again, and well, it's going to be so we have already got an itinerary in place where. So in fact we have challenges, but this trek might come and go. Government intervention they come, but after 5 years, 10 years, would this continue? I will not be around, as I always say. This trek doesn't belong to me. Like it doesn't belong to Nanai as well. It doesn't belong to these people. I mean, I'm only a facilitator. I always say I don't own anything. The trek belongs to the people. That we must remember our heroes. Try to preserve it. Try to protect the World War sites, and make sure that preserve them, so that our Americans and Australians come down and say, oh, these were the Papuans camped, and Papuans assisted our soldiers from America and Australia to fight this war, during this war. So like I said, sometimes they were not treated properly, because they didn't do it properly. They were not properly trained. So like it's a challenge for me, But I didn't look at it that way. I was looking at the positive side of it.
Always on the positive.
So I was positive about making it positive, because I see how they are giving their time and effort into this. And I'm so grateful that I have James Campbell in, I have Peter Genji, I have a getaway trekking led by Wayne Fisher and the wife Sue Fisher and Kevin Mansfield, Deb Mendes, all these guys, and I'm very 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 sad that I lost some of my boys. We worked together, not in pipe. Like I lost Nathan Lati from TPA, Tourism Promotion Authority. So these are the boys we work together. These are challenges we have. I lost him along the way. He's gone. And Nathan and Peter Bonga, whom I just lost 2 years ago, he was the team leader at the northern side, and I was team leader this side. So like these are real challenges we face. Am I going to be here to continue, or do I need government intervention so that I can have at least a relief at the side? And I said, I've already done my part. Let the young ones take over and walk. As long as I have a story to tell and I have a history that is going to be left behind. So that's the challenge I have, and I'm not giving up. And that's the truth I must tell to the people of Central Province. I don't own this track. Even my family doesn't own it. I don't get any money from this. I'm only trying to develop so that the white men come and walk, and they give the money to the local people. Like they do to Kapa Kapa people. They buy their food. They give the money. The trekkers, they paid. They walk. Every household they go, every guest house they paid. They get the money. And I don't ask him for money. This is a challenge I see, and we want to do it with our heart. It's not of self-exaltation and pride and greed and all. It's about people. It's about people. So that's leadership. We give our time so that we must be remembered in the long years when we are not around.
But I'm really excited about the trekking. Sounds like a lot of people will be going, and there's so much happening, and governor will be walking, and she's in contact with the governor for Northern Province, and sounds very interesting. I'm excited about the walk coming in September, and I believe so many people are prepping for that. But we have Didi, who is one of the pioneer. Maybe you could share a little bit on the trek.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to tell about the Coast Mountain of Kapa Kapa. I was it's only a man. In 2006, I was a pioneer to this trek.
To walk the trek.
To walk this trek. So I work with my son, Buddy. He's my son. So I work this trek, Coast Mountain, and I walk maybe around this time. This is my last time to walk this.
So you're going to walk again, will be your last time to walk in September.
Yes.
I'm so excited for that walk.
Because I was this trip for this Kapa Kapa Track. I was a leader.
You was
I was a leader for this one. The trekkers come, and I was leading them from north side.
South side,
South side.
From the south side.
Yes.
I was a leader. I lead them to other side of the northern side, and I also took them to Buna. And walk back with a fly with them to Port Moresby.
Very interesting. We also have Billy as well. Bevan, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. You also walk the track. Maybe you could share your
Oh,
experience while walking the track.
Oh yes, thank you for giving me that opportunity this afternoon. In 2006, I was a little bit around maybe 7 years old that time.
So before you talk more, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
tell us where you're from. Which part?
Yeah, my
from
name is-
Kapa Kapa or Rigo side?
Yes, thank you. My name is Bevan Billy. I'm from Central Province, Rigo District. This Laronu, Ward 1 in
Ward
Mount Aubrey, yeah.
it's-
Mount Aubrey constituency,
you're the
yes.
current ward
And
member.
Buddy is my cousin brother. He's elder cousin brother. And Didibu is my uncle. Yes. Yes, that's my uncle. And we are from one place.
All right. So you walked that time? How old were you?
No, I was just 7 years old and that time, 2006.
We took him
This
to walk.
time,
And you walked with
Yeah, we had to take him to walk with us.
village, we have to walk. So that time I was there, and when I don't know what's happening that time, but just a little boy is standing there and sitting there in the village, and so the helicopter flew over the village. And, hey, some white people are coming. We take a walk to northern side, so we excite and enjoy, then walk with them down to the northern side. And yeah, that's how the trek began, and
Wow.
we start there almost now it's almost 20 years now.
20 years, yeah.
So trek just all of us suddenly we just forgot the trek along the way the 20 years and we didn't realize that this trek gonna be on again. Yeah, but somehow I don't know, Miss Rufina Peter, Honorable Governor came in and thanks Buddy for the opportunity that he invite the governor to our village and he talk about this, and then they came up with the idea to walk again. This yes. So
So are you walking again?
yeah, definitely.
So
I'm
this will be
okay.
your second time?
Yeah, second time.
So oh my goodness. So after you were
after-
6 years old.
Yes,
and-
I left home. So I resided Mosby and I'm not walking again this track. I just
So
stay
you
in Mosby and yeah.
interesting. So you're going to walk again in the track after how many years?
Yes.
Very interesting, buddy. Great initiative.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, as I said earlier, I'm happy to see this track being, it's almost we've been starting doing this track for so many years, and we, as I said, we did almost 7 trips already, and this will be our 8th one. And I hope after this one is going to be more marketing in America, in Australia, and we have more trekkers coming into the country, and everyone enjoys walk and
Yeah, especially
more
the
guest
Americans.
houses
Yeah.
along the way. And I believe Nanai will not be resting. Nanai
Yeah.
will be having more because we will have a guest house. We proposed, and I've already discussed that with Governor because that is the main quota where we need to have a camp the first night there. They go flying, go to Kapa Kapa, and then start the trek from there. So
Yeah.
a lot of initiatives up online, and we're working on it. But we're praying that things will happen that way we're thinking. And
So are they filming? Is there a movie coming up or movie documentary coming up in the, after that books of the Ghost Mountain Boys?
Yeah, definitely. We have a TV crew already booked in. They're keen to do this, and they will be working with us. They will be working with us from Kapa Kapa. We walk the team, Governor and the team will be in Port Moresby. After the official launching at Kapa Kapa, they return back to Port Moresby. So I will take that team and we'll walk that actual track and to Dorobisoro. We arrive today and they will arrive tomorrow. So we already got an itinerary prepared and we are ready for that. And they will be welcoming Governor and the team to fly to Dorobisoro. We'll do official welcome, Sintin groups, everything, and then return and we will walk the track again to the northern side. And Governor returns from my village, returns here. And then after that, it's going to be another trip when we arrive at Itokama in Northern Province. And then Governor and the team from Moro can fly. They were ready to fly from here to meet us there again in another welcome reception over on the northern side. So this is an arrangement we already have in place now.
So going forward, how do you think this film could help in preserving the legacy of the Ghost Mountain Trek and its significance in terms of them filming? How do you see that film?
I think, not I think, but I believe it will be a great potential. It has a great potential to do filming in this country, and maybe I would say maybe a movie, film in for the Ghost Track, because like I say, we watch these American movies and Chinese movies and all this, but I believe that for these filmmakers to come to the country, there might be possibility of a big team coming out to shoot a movie along the Kapa Kapa Track. And that is possibility, because now I had conversations that we're still communicating now to my partners, and James Campbell in America, we are still communicating, and Peter Gamgee in Australia, and the team is very happy, you know. They were supposed to come down for the media conference on Tuesday, which they missed,
Yes.
and they were disappointed. And then governor was very sorry for that, and then they were said that's okay, but they are looking forward to come to the country to shoot a movie.
While walking, while you guys are tricking the film as well.
They'll do the filming.
Interesting.
So they are ready. The team is ready. Actually, they're a total of 20, but I think 20 are trekkers, and maybe they will add extra, maybe 7, 8 of the TV crews coming together with them. So more than 30, I think.
Wow.
So we are looking forward to this, and it's very interesting, because possibilities, huge potential I see for Kapa Kapa. So we're likely to see this. And now, as I said, we've kind of forgotten. So we need to now re-own. We must be recognized, and we must make sure that the track must be coming back to our locals here.
So in terms of community support, how is the community support and the planning towards that walk? It's 2 months now. We have the walk in September. So in terms of community support, is there any community support to help in terms of walking, like facilitating people not to walk with, but to facilitate?
Okay, yes, that is always a concern, and that is always interesting, because the local community only just wait. When I say there is a track, they already get up.
Oh,
you know,
that's great.
And they always do that. So like I have now, because governor has already officially announced a trip and a media conference, and she's now already blessed this trip. Now here I am, and I want to make an awareness, so that we are now giving awareness back to our people that there will be a trip, and I'll be start doing up documents and letters, and with itineraries in everything together, and the team will be taking the documents to in advance, so that the communities along the trail from Kapa Kapa, Nanai, and the team along the tracks, everyone are aware of the trek, and so they are ready for these trips, and an itinerary, when they arrive in, what time, what date, and all these kind of things. So everyone is already happy, because they've been doing supporting us all to date, and no problem with that, and we're looking forward to a successful trip there in September. Yeah.
So the walk is coming up in September. Like going forward in terms of future plan, what are the future plans for fundraising or preserving or commemorating this historical site?
Yes, the Spare Governor's initiative now, she wants to recognize and remember the Papuan heroes,
Yes.
and because she wants to do this annually now. She wants to do this annually for Kokoda and for Kapa Kapa. So it's now for the first time, and I'm really grateful. I'm really happy that our provincial member has decided that this will be annual thing. So Kapa Kapa will be always in calendar, and Kokoda will be always in calendar. So every year we remember, and so governor
come
will,
to those dates. We remember.
the dates will be confirmed. I mean, as we work along with the governor and the team, we will now sit down and try to organize which days must be remembered for our Papuan heroes. So this will be every annual program event. So and maybe we have a national arts and culture.
Yes.
They want to be part of it, and the governor is already talking, and so
Awesome.
we want to make it a national event too as well.
Wow.
Yeah, for Kapa Kapa and Kokoda.
Interesting. Finally, we're also coming to the end now. In terms of collaboration, are there any organization or individuals that you are collaborating with in terms of the, promoting this historical track?
Oh yes, definitely. Yes, we are fortunate to have partners like James Campbell, Peter Gamgee, and Getaway Trekking in Australia. They walk Kokoda Track. It is one of the biggest trekking companies, tour operators who does Kokoda Track, and they've been helping us since 2006. They've been with us, and they've been doing this through them, and we're here. And now we are fortunate to have a PNG Tribal Foundation. PNG Tribal Foundation. I was a pleasure to be invited by Gary Baston, GT Baston, the CEO of Tribal Foundation. I had a meet with him, and we are working because now Kapa Kapa reorganizing of Kapa Kapa trip is now under PNG Tribal Foundation. So I'm working closely with them. We have these partners we are working with to we ensure when arrangement of these things. We know we are working with Tribal Foundation partners Peter Gamgee and James Campbell. So we now oversee over the event committee. Event partner is the PNG Tribal Foundation. So we are working closely with them, ensuring that this Kapa Kapa Track becomes successful. So that's what we are working now. Yeah.
Thank you so much. A very good a talk on arts and culture this afternoon. Before we end our conversation, Mr. Nanai, would you have something to say, because the walk will start at Gaba Gaba?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I was little informed of the latest happenings. Because I wasn't the councillor no more, but because the governance system is such that anything and everything will have to go through the ward members. But nonetheless, Buddy and I keep in touch from time to time.
The network has already been there,
So coming to talking about the solutions and way forward and all that, of course, Buddy has said much of it, but I have now a task on my hand, and it's I'm lucky that very fortunate. I'm also on the ward members committee listing, so I have something to take back to my ward member, and also to give the message that it is now really happening. So Buddy and I have a lot of talking to do, and also the Gaba Gaba part of it. How should we put up the whole show out there? So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm excited too about the walk, and I'm excited about the activities that they'll be doing here in Buddy says. It's quite interesting, and a lot of people will be interested as well. So finally, Buddy, as the ward member, what is your long-term vision for Kapa Kapa Track?
My long-term vision is I want Kapa Kapa Track to be recognized and to become another authority of its own, become another track authority, Kapa Kapa Track Authority, and we should have our own body that can run Kapa Kapa, and that is what I'm looking at, and I want it to happen, and then most importantly is because Central Province doesn't have a tourism bureau in place, I've been discussing that seriously with governor, and governor is very happy, and through the bureau in place, we would have officers in place so that we can work together towards trying to develop this track. And initially, for the start, and maybe we can come up with a body that can be able to manage and look after the affairs of the Kapa Kapa Trail in the long term.
Thank you so much, team, Buddy, Mr. Nanai, Hari, and of course Didi Buyo and Bevan, for your time joining me this afternoon on our arts and culture to talk about the Ghost Track. Finally,
yes, thank you. Finally, before I let go, we may disperse from this area. My only awareness to the local communities, especially for people from northern side in Oro province and along the Kapa Kapa Trail from Rigo Inland up to the coastline of Kapa Kapa. This track doesn't belong to each and every one of us. I'm one individual person, it belongs to everyone. So it is a responsibility now going back. We all need to work together. We need to help preserve our history, and we need to help work together. It's nothing belonging to anybody in the city. It's something that belongs to the local community. So my only encouragement and awareness to the people is work together as a team, and no, nothing whatsoever, but at least allow our trekkers to come and work together, and we promote the Kapa Kapa Trail for the best interest of our local communities and development through tourism industry in Central Province.
Thank you so much, Abadi and the team. Good afternoon to you all.
Thank you.
You may have the last say, please.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Coming back to the entries into communities, we have experienced a lot of things like we had said earlier on, we've got the likes and the dislikes. So awareness is to the community is paramount. So like in my instance here, I'll have to do a lot of talking and awareness we're doing in trying to get the acts together with my community, because it's a lot of unnecessary politicking around these days. So thank you so much. I think going on air like this is important because we have listeners out there who will have something to live by. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.